Windows Server 2019 System Administration. Welcome back everybody. I'm Prakash Pradhan, your trainer for this entire series. Before we continue our further series, this tutorial of installing so many advanced features that's been offered by the Microsoft like your RMS, work folder and all, it has become necessary first to install the CS server. So that's why I have taken this today's topic for the certificate authority server. Now first what we need to understand, what is certificate? Why do we need to use certificate? All these things are mandatory to know. So first, what we need to understand about the certificate is, in computer, the server or any online this transaction, when we talk about the certificate, these certificates are nothing, they are digital documents actually. So that carries certain information about the certain entities. So over here, when we talk about the certificate authority server installation, we also need to understand what's gonna happen after we install this certificate server. Okay, what are the advantages or it might be disadvantages of installing the certificate server? There are a few things that you need to make clear before you install a CS server. Number one among which is that you cannot change your computer name after you install the CS server, because all the certificate that is going to be distributed among your client, they are associated with the name of your computer itself. So that's why it will not allow you to change the name of the computer. For example, if I say right now, if I go to my computer, let's go over here, I go to properties, okay, let it come, okay. If I go to change and I go for change again, okay, we know there's Active Directory, see, I can change it. But after I install this certificate server in my server, it will not allow you to change, number one. Now let's also understand what's going to happen, how the clients are going to use this certificate. Clients are going to be obtaining the certificate probably by using two means. Number one, they can request for the certificate via web browser to the server. Number two, they can also be deployed about the certificate from the group policy as well. So what is the certificate? This is a digital document that carries the information about the object, about the user, about your workstation. Okay, because the certificate can be assigned to the devices as well. It's not only for the user. So the main purpose of using a certificate is to set a secure communication. So in what order it does a secure this communication? By encrypting your file actually. Just that the main purpose of certificate is to encrypt only. So there will be two keys used actually for this certificate authority server. Number one, there will be one public key. So that public key will be issued in order to encrypt your personal document. Now only the private key can decrypt that. That means that private key will be remaining associated with your name. Okay, so I hope the picture is clear that the main purpose of installing a CS server is to set a secure communication, okay, so that your client, any of the workstation can access their resources in more secure way than without using your certificate. So without wasting your further precious time, let's jump up to the server manager so that we can install the certificate authority role. So let's go to manage, add roles and features. Next, of course we are doing everything role based, so that's why this is okay. Next, now if you notice over here, this is the same thing. See, that's why I told you, keep your computer name something that carries a meaning. Otherwise, after we install this certificate server, it will not allow you. Now see, Active Directory certificate services, this is the first role that's given by the Microsoft, because it has a valid reason actually, okay, in order to set the secure communication. Now if you read at the right hand pane, Active Directory certificate services is used to create certification authority and related role services that allow you to issue, manage certificate used in a variety of applications. See, this is my main reason why I'm making this video right now. I was supposed to make this video actually after 20 to 30 videos. See, I'm going to make minimum around, I guess it will be around 100 or more than that. Okay, so I was planning to make a tutorial for the certificate server later after making 20 or more 30 videos. That means after 50 number of videos, but I thought, if I show you how to install a certificate now, and it will be easy for me as well to explain you while using your RMS, okay, work folder, and there are so many things. Okay, so now variety of applications are dependable on this CS server, so that's why I'm doing this. And don't forget, in order to access or in order to install this certificate so that client can access it via web browser, you need to have installed a IIS as well. That is on the way, don't worry. Now next things to note: the name and domain setting of this computer cannot be changed. Did you see here? I told you beforehand only, you cannot change it now once Active Directory integrated CS server is installed, because we can have this one standalone also. So that's why I told you at first only. Next, now what is asking? Select the role services to install for Active Directory certificate service. Of course, I want to install certificate authority. I want to be authorized computer right now in order to issue the certificate to my client. Okay, but using a web enrollment service also. For this, see, I told you HTTP, .NET, IIS, entire things are needed. So let's see again. Certificate authority, fine. Certification authority, web enrollment. Certificate enrollment, web services. I don't want to do this. I want to do this. Okay, IIS, that's what I was talking about. So that certification authority, web enrollment, that means your client can request for the certificate from the web browser as well. Okay, so these two roles are more than enough for us at this moment. Okay, so we don't need to restart. If it doesn't give any issues, it's okay. Install it. Now it might take few seconds, or it might be taking few minutes, okay, to install this certificate server. It's installing the entire thing: certificate authority, web enrollment, whatever additional roles are needed, whatever additional features are needed, or the tools are needed in order to function this certificate server properly. So it's gonna add it itself. Okay, and since we are in this virtual machine, it might be a bit slow also, because if you remember, we are adding so many roles in this server. Okay, I hope it will be installed by next 1 or 2 minutes. Bear with me. By the time we'll go to the client to see that client is functioning properly or not. Remember, last time we had made a video in order to understand the NTFS permission and along with the home folder. Okay, so since I need a client as well, so I'm going to log in as a client so that in future I can access that certificate server in order to request the certificate. Okay, so let's go to server again. It's installing. If it takes few minutes, please bear with me, because I don't want to forward your video. Okay, I want you to witness each and everything. That's why. It's simple logic. Whenever we encrypt any document, actually it generates one certificate automatically. So let's try that without using your CS server also. Okay, now let me go to my E drive. By the time your CS server has been installed, it is only installing the role. Don't forget, the configuration is still left out. Okay, because it is going to ask you for how many years you are going to install this. Okay, yeah, so many other information. So let's create one folder, and I'm going to name as encrypt. Okay, and let's create one file just to show that when we encrypt any file, actually it generates one key. Okay, see here, encrypt contents to secure the data. That means the main concept of certificate is simply to encrypt. As soon as I do this, okay, you might be seeing something pop up over here. It should come. If not, it's a trial version of running system, so bear with me. So apply the changes to this folder and even the subfolder. Okay, that means I want to encrypt everything, whatever I have. See, applying attributes to this one, it will generate a key automatically for itself. So trial one, so it didn't display over here. Actually, automatically it does over here. Okay, anyway, that is not our concern. Our concern is over here. Okay, is it okay? So almost done. I'll show you the part also where the certificate will get installed actually. It did install. Wait for a few seconds. Okay, we'll come back to server. Almost done. Anytime you encrypt your any document, actually the two keys are used over there. One is to encrypt and second one is to decrypt. Okay, encrypting the public key is used, decrypting the private key is used actually. Okay, so it's almost done. Say, oh, if you notice over here, exclamation has come, that means configuration is left out. Okay, now if I even close this, no worries, you go to this, it will ask you configure activity certificate services. Obviously we are going to do that. Okay, now select it. So this is the credential that I am going to use in order to install the certificate server over here. Okay, next. See, others are not highlighted over here. Why? Because last time we selected only these two roles actually in order to install a CA server. One is the certificate authority and second one is the certification authority web environment, so that the client can have access over the web as well. Okay, otherwise we'll be coming back and install anything else, whatever we needed as per our necessity right now. So when we set up the CA server, you will be having two options over here. Number one, enterprise CA. That means right now we are going to learn how to install an enterprise root CA, and second one is standalone. Standalone can be a member or a workgroup of domain or domain. That means it can be your PC or server that is the standalone without having the domain controller as well. But of course we are working everything in a domain controller environment, so that's why we are taking this enterprise CA. Next, so is it a root CA or subordinate CA? Root CA means the first CA in your infrastructure, and subordinate CA means there is already a one root CA and this CA will be under the control of that root CA. That means the subordinate, and it's a first root CA, so that's why I'm going to use this one. Next, now it's asking create a new private key. See, I told you the key will be generated, or use existing private key. Of course this is a first root CA, so I do not have anything. That's why I'm going to click this one, create a new private key. That means use this option if you do not have a private key or want to create a new private key. Obviously we do not have, so that's why next. Now the next one is asking you the cryptographic provider. That means who's the provider of this certificate. So let's take it as it is, as a Microsoft software key, anything. Okay, the key length, higher bit the key length, the more secure. Okay, and select the algorithm that you're going to use. Okay, for that issuing the certificate. That means SHA, that means secure hash algorithm 250. So let's leave it as it is. Okay, and next one, allow administrators interaction when the private key is accessed by the CA. So this one also, it's none of our concern at this moment. So next, now common name for this service, that means your certificate, Viatec-PDC. See, I told you, that's why the name of PC, be careful. Common name for the CA. Okay, it's a common name for your CA, Viatec-PDC-CA. Okay, so let me copy this because we might forget, and I'm a very bit absent-minded person. Viatec-PDC, that's a hyphen actually. Okay, now so we'll go to next. This is a distinguished name or the suffix and the preview of distinguished name. Okay, next. And when we issue a certificate or when we install a certificate server in your network infrastructure, it is going to ask you for how long would you like to validate this certificate, for 5 years or any amount of years that you'd like to have. Okay, so for us right now 5 years is more than enough. and it's asking you to see once where is the location of your database. That means certificate database location is the root. See over here, Windows System 32, and certificate database log location is this. And I suggest you to leave as it is. Okay, do not change this. Next, now it's giving you the summary, whatever options we selected right now, and click configure. Now the configuration will start. After that only, from here tools, the certificate authority will be displayed, and from there I'm going to show you few other things that we need to see. Okay, it's installing entire rules. That means it's completing the process actually. Congratulations, there is no error. Okay, that doesn't mean I was scared bit because it's a fresh operating system and I knew that there is no issue, but still you see, to be a confident is good, but overconfident is not good. Why? In server operating system, we almost use a trial version operating system, as you have already noticed over here. In trial, sometimes we do come across certain issues, certain errors. So that's why I was thinking we might come across certain issues, but I must tell you, if you come across certain issues, that's a good luck. Why? Because you get opportunity to learn something. Close. Now, if I go to tools, okay, and now you'll see certification authority. If I click it, it's loading. See this name, I told you, it's here, Viatech-PDC-C. Okay, now over here, if I open it, these are the folders, or in terms of menus that you find over here that's been listed. Revoked certificate, those are blocked actually. Issued certificate, the certificate that's been issued to the client. Pending request, sometimes the client requests for the certificate and we do not agree or we do not issue certificate, so that will remain in a pending certificate list over here. Failed request, sometimes we do come across certain circumstances or the situation where the certificate request is failed, and these all are the certificate template. That's a default template. Don't forget, we will be coming back to this scenario again because there are many things to be done. So okay, anyway, let's see from the browser whether I can access it via browser or not. Okay, so let's go to the browser once, and since it has been hosted with the IIS, so what we can write, http colon, okay, let it type first, http, and then we write it this, what we write, the full path. Just a second. Or what we can write over here, we can write the localhost as well, no problem. Localhost cert SRV, that's a certificate service actually. Okay, it's loading, don't worry, it will come. See this page. Or how about hitting the localhost IP 192.168.1.100. So let's see, http, okay, 192, this one slash certificate service. Did it roll full? See, that means it's working. Okay, now, but first it didn't ask me. Remember, when I do this, http, okay, localhost and cert SRV. Why? Because I have logged in as a server administrator. I'm in domain, that means server itself. So I have not logged in, or I'm not going to request for any certificate from the client machine. That's why it didn't ask. But when I give the IP, it will ask for the authentication. Okay, so that might be your server client as well. So there are a few things that you need to understand. Request a certificate, that means client can request, create and submit a request for the certificate. Okay, and over here we do have view the status of a pending certificate request. That can be done because you have no pending certificate request over here. Okay, now download the CS certificate, certain chain, URL, whatever you want. Now if I go to my client machine, This is the server. Now we'll be going back to client machine. I'm doing it very slow so that you get very well. Okay. So now let's come over here. HTTP, because it is hosted with the HTTP, and then 192.168.1.100. okay, and I can't say I just forgot one dot only because that dot means a lot. Okay, now let's see. It's not displaying. Come on, it's going to the Microsoft because I guess I have given the gateway. Now it's asking me the authentication because you're accessing via other computer. Okay, so let's give NTFS 1. Okay, anyone from the network can request for the certificate. Remember, we have also installed the role for web enrollment. So that's why. Okay. So let's save it because I'm in cache over here. That means in a local machine. Now you'll find the same screen that you got last time in the server. Now in the server, it didn't ask for the authentication. Why? Because I have logged in as administrator and I didn't write the IP. I wrote the localhost. Now over here, if I go to request a certificate and create and submit a request. Okay, you can write anything you want. Friendly name. NTFS, okay, NTFS 1 and submit. Site says the page has not finished loading yet. Please wait a few seconds. Okay, no problem. Still loading. I don't want to export anything. Okay, has algorithm anything. Don't let this spreadsheet anymore. Okay, no problem. So it's taking time. Okay. Anyway, my objective was to show you this page. Okay, now we make a request form over here. This is by default created your request form actually. Key usage, exchange, signature, both. Let's give it both. Okay, create a new key set. Obviously we want new key set for this user. Okay, now submit it. Okay, now we'll go to the server and then we see what happened in the server. Am I in server? Yeah, this is the server. Okay, now if I go back to view the status of no pending, okay, let's go to the CA now. Certificate authority, it's loading. This is my CA server. Issued certificate, it's not issued yet. Okay, pending request. It has not completed yet because the request has to come from there. Okay, there was certain issues, so that's why actually this is only easiest way to install your CA server actually. Now in our next video we are going to see further detail. Okay, that will be the part 2 of requesting for any certificate. Okay, revoking any certificate. Okay, and we will also see some of the failed certificates because this video is already, it went long, so that's why I'm not going to continue further for this CA server. So I hope in this video you clearly understood how to install the server role over here. Certificate authority, what is the use of this certificate in the network environment, and what are the roles that you need to install for the basic functioning of your CA server. I hope it was a bit informative to you, and I still believe that it's going to help you a lot in your domain environment to install many roles that we're going to learn in the future. Those are the fantastic roles that's been given by the Microsoft. If you think it was a fruitful, please do like and subscribe. Thank you.